Great, welcome back to grade 7 math. We are now on chapter 6.1 on integers. Integers are really cool numbers because this family of integer numbers includes what we call negative numbers. And I think we've seen negative numbers, or you may have seen negative numbers in our real life. What I want you to do is pause the video and just do a search on Google or on any search engine on integers to see kind of different examples of where we could find negative numbers in our life. You can see negative numbers both in temperature. So when you're talking about the temperature outside, you can refer to some negative numbers. If you talk about money, you can also look at negative numbers. Even some sports include negative numbers as well. So take a look online and find a bunch of different examples in our world, because in class, I'm going to ask you for some of those examples of where we see integers in our real life. So the way we can represent it, or the way we can kind of compare numbers, is by using a number line. And a number line is such that it's a horizontal line, and then there's a point that's called 0, and 0 is where we'll start. So 0 is kind of like the starting point of our number line. And then we have our regular counting numbers. So, for example, the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, the number 4, the number 5. These are all positive numbers because these are things that will add up to make more of something in a positive direction. So it's talking about adding or you're moving higher, you have more quantity of that one item. So these are called the positive integers. Notice that positive integers can have a plus sign in front of it, or it could have no sign in front of it. So just the number 5 in itself means positive 5. And if you're comparing two of these numbers, something that's on the right of something else is greater. So if by moving up or to the right, you are greater than something that is to the left. So in this example, positive 4 is greater than positive 2. Now, if we go in the other direction, and I'm just going to change colors to blue to represent kind of like cold, I'll have 0 and then going backwards, meaning, so instead of adding 1, I'm going to take away 1. If I'm moving backwards, if I keep taking away 1, or if I keep going down by 1, then I have what I call the negative integers, or the negative numbers. So we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Now these integers must have the sign in front of it to identify that it really is negative. So a -4 will have the minus sign in front of it. Now if something is to the left of something, then we call it less than. So if I can look at a bunch of these numbers, let's say -3 is less than -1. You can always look at it in terms of temperature. Which one is colder? So something that is colder, then it means that is more to the left. Now, does it mean that it has to be negative? Is +1 colder than +3? Yes, because it is to the left of +3. So +1, even though it's a positive number, is less than or colder than +3. Likewise, if I go with my negative numbers, can I have a negative number that's greater than another number? Of course. So I have -2 is greater than -4, because -2 is higher up on the scale or on the number line than -4. So what we'll look at now are just some examples of comparisons. So place less than or greater than signs to make the expression true. So I have the two numbers. I have +3 and +2. What I'd like you to do is pause the video and then answer examples 1 and example 2, and we'll do this and then we'll just pick it up with the rest of the video to see if your answers were right. So if we look at number 1, +3 is greater than +2. -3 and +2. -3 is to the left of +2, so -3 is less than +2. I have +3 and -2. +3 is greater than -2. I have -3 and -2. Well, they're right beside each other, but which one is greater and -2 is greater? Or -3 is less than. Again, if you're not sure about these signs, you could think of it as like a little mouth, a little Pac-Man kind of symbol, or the alligator that is eating the greater amount. In the next example, +100 is the one that's greater, or -100 is less than. Positive 8 is greater than negative 12. Negative 15 is greater than negative 17. And negative 1 is less than 0. Great. So now let's take a look at some examples below. Example 2, list 3 numbers that are less than negative 3. There's a lot of different ones. We can pick this up in class, but just the pretty simple ones are anything that's to the left of it, and negative 4, negative 5, and negative 6 are less than negative 3 because they're to the left of it. Also negative 100, negative 200, negative 1,000. Those are all less than negative 3. List 3 numbers that are greater than negative 12. Well, that means anything to the right of negative 12 on the number line. So if I write my number line and I think where negative 12 is, anything to the right of that. So that includes negative 11, negative 10 even 0 or positive 5. All those numbers will be greater than negative 12. So in class, we'll be looking at these examples, review, it's a review kind of less than and greater than, and review the number line so that you can visualize easily where the negative numbers or negative integers and where the positive integers are. And then we'll complete these questions in class. So hopefully you understood this lesson.